Hello. Up next, we have Alejandra Gomez. Born in Uruguay, trumpet player and composer Alejandra Gomez graduated from the Conservatory Manuel de Falla in Buenos Aires in 2020. She won FONAM National Grant in 2015-2017 and the FEFCA National Scholarship from the Ministry of Culture and Education in Uruguay in 2019. Alejandra is part of international group Mestizas and has performed in Boston with her own project, the Gala Group, featuring Noah Preminger, John Lockwood, and Eric Hofbauer. Her committee members are Professor Nando Michelin, and Afro-Panamanian Diaspora Coordinator of the Network of Afro-Latin Women, Yvette Modestin. Alejandra's advisor is Assistant Professor Patricia Zarate. Please welcome to the stage Alejandra Gomez.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. My name is Alejandra Gomez. I come from Uruguay, South America, and I'm a master's student at Berklee Global Jazz Institute. I am very happy that I'm presenting my culminating experience at the Institute. Thank you all for listening. My CE presentation is called Tradition and Gender, a story about Candombe, women, symbols, and women. I would like to acknowledge my advisor, Patricia Zarate Perez, and my panelists, Yvette Modestin and Nando Michelin. The content of this presentation comes from the research I did during the past year and the interaction and conversations that I have with women that have been raised and are part of the core of Candombe tradition in Uruguay today. My goals with this project are to reimagine Candombe in the context of global jazz from a female perspective, to expand the musical narratives of Candombe, to understand its complexities both culturally and historically, to understand my identity and the contribution I could make to the world. To achieve these goals, I explored global jazz concepts and put them in dialogue with the influences and inspiration I got from Candombe tradition. Some of the questions that guided the research and the compositional process that I always have in the back of my mind are: which role did women play in the development of Candombe cultural identity? How do women embrace Candombe today? Where does Candombe and global jazz meet? Among others. The first piece of my CE is called Bajo del árbol un tambor, which translates as a drum descended from a tree. It is a traditional song based on a poem. This song symbolizes Genesis, tradition, the beginning of the stories I'm going to tell you about. It is my tribute to the mother, to the creation, and based on the version interpreted by Lágrima Ríos, I explored the comprovisation and the fear training concept. All the music we are going to listen to features Candombe drums, chico, repique, and piano, that I recorded remotely in Montevideo. In the same fashion as other styles, like tango and milonga, performing and dancing was mainly done by men. Candombe was not the exception. Drums are traditionally played by men. The role of women was and still relegated inside of the house. Nowadays, more often, women play drums and they gather around it to create safe spaces of belonging and learn about the tradition, music, and gender perspective. To write this music, I was inspired by the first female drummers who challenged traditional mandates and opened the path to question and empower themselves, one of them being Luquita Fargas. The composition we are going to listen to is called I Dare You. It is a slow candombe called milongong, which is usually performed in 4/4, and I adapted in 3/4 and explored the cross rhythms within it. It contains inside a hidden 4/4 candombe pattern that reveals on the C section. Every melody in this tune is based on the pattern of each drum. This is a technique called tambo jazz from Panama that I applied with candombe. The way the melody reveals from the bottom to the top lines and the 4/4 quar over the 3/4 groove represents the fear and the challenges.
tambor llegó a mi vida cuando era chica, porque mi mamá había nacido acá en Ancina y nos llevaba siempre a mis hermanos y a mí a los tambores. Me gustaba de repente ir escuchando lo que pasaba, a un costado, al otro, atrás. Me acuerdo que de chica, por ejemplo, los tambores los sentía mucho acá y era una cosa como que me asustaba, pero a su vez me atraía poderosamente, ¿no? Y ahí conversación va, conversación viene, decía, ustedes tienen que tocar el tambor, chiquilinas, ustedes tienen que tocar el tambor. Y salieron ellas y tocaron el tambor. Armamos unas historias, ¿no? Sobre la situación de las mujeres negras. Feminismo negro desde el arte. Fue necesario crear un grupo de mujeres que cantara, bailara, y hiciera teatro, hiciera cosas para poder fortalecernos. En algún momento de la historia, que yo posiblemente no lo vea, va a haber inequidad. Tiene que existir una equidad de género, tiene que existir una equidad racial, tiene que existir la equidad desde la concepción, no desde la palabra. Yo palabras prefiero estas. Y hoy las palabras ya sin trabas al decir, te reconocen y te...
Chabela Ramírez. The next piece, titled Candometric, delves into the third theme of this presentation, my intention to challenge gender stereotypes. This composition is built on a three-tonic system to avoid staying in one key for too long. By utilizing shifting tonics, I wanted to create a parallelism with the process of transgression in real life, which is always in motion. I felt inspired by this ever-changing process, which is underlined inevitably by tradition. Candometric is played evoking the traditional way of playing candombe. I am trying to put in perspective what is established and question it by choosing unexpected harmonic turns. To know yourself is to begin to improve yourself. This quote by Laura Shestaran is an invitation to reflect upon ourselves, and it is the shifting point of this presentation, where I place myself in the center and I think about my own story. The last theme I explored is intersectionality. This contemporary concept was born in Black feminism to take into consideration all the social variables that define an individual. There is a difference that must be pointed out. Within being a woman, it is not the same to be Latina, indigenous, Black, white, Afro-Latina, etc. Because I want to address the difference, I use this concept to write this music and try to evoke the sense of unity rather than division, a call to make ourselves strong by coming together. This composition is a candombe in 5 based on the traditional 4/4 pattern that, with guidance of my panelist Nando Michelin, we did a binarization of the 5 field and developed this new groove. What I visualize when I say Pandora Forest is a tree and a waterfall, a space where we are all connected as one living organism. That space of trust and confidence is what I look for in creative settings. That's also my understanding of zero gravity concept. We are going to listen to some excerpts of the music. To finish this presentation, I would like to share some conclusions. Musically, I found out that tambo jazz techniques from Panama applied in Candombe is an area of strong potential. Also, the intersection between jazz harmonies and Candombe rhythms results in a favorable middle ground that enables the development of a contemporary musical language, global jazz. On a personal level, this project is the kickoff of a new way of navigating and writing music. In this process, I saw myself as a narrator with the opportunity to create new narratives that can help us build and coexist in an equitable society. In addition to that, I see myself as a participant of this new narrative who stands with certainty and confidence for gender and racial equity. In creating this music, I confirm my deeply rooted vibration in my Uruguayan country. This process brought me to realize that Candombe is also part of who I am. Thank you, gracias, very much to every single person involved in this project, and especially to all the women in Uruguay who share with me their perspectives and stories and inspire me to write this music. Thank you all.
Wow, brava. Brava. Yes. Congratulations, Alejandra. And now we start the second part of your presentation with question answer. And as usual, we start with the panelists. So I pass the word to Yvette Modesti.
Is this? Oh, it is on. Primero, giving thanks to those whose shoulders we stand on, and you are standing on them today. So we want to bring that energy in this room. Felicidades. And thank you for inviting me to a part of this process. And, you know, I was writing as I was listening again. When we met, you know, through this, we both teared up when we spoke. And I want to start with where you ended. You are Candombe. You are Uruguayan. This country leads us to think that we can't be who we are fully because we have to be divided up in these pockets of race and ethnicity. And if you don't look it, you can't fit it. You fit. Everything you created fits into what Candombe is, which is the root of the ancestors, the movement, the connection to nature. That is all that you did. You are Candombe. You are Uruguayan. And I'm so happy that you owned it and you centered yourself and you put yourself in it. The melody, everything about this process, I think you gave just to the women of Uruguay. And I have a direct message for you from Isabela and Beatriz Ramirez, two of the founders of the Red de Mujeres Afro, who happen to be Uruguaya, and Isabela is Beatriz's sister. Yes. So they know you. They see you, I see you, and I welcome you. The ancestors welcome you. What you have done here today is lifted their truth, not only in the rhythm, but in showing us and allowing us to hear their voice and their truth. You know, Uruguay is very center to the Afro-Latin American movement. Mundo Afro happens to be the first and oldest organization of Afro-Latin American people in the region. So the fact that you are lifting this up is not just the music, it's the story of the ancestors. So I congratulate you. I have so much more I want to say. But you did good. You did really good. Felicidades.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Yvette. Maestro Michelin.
Well, this is so amazing. Thank you, Yvette. Thanks for saying that. Ale, amazing presentation. As a Uruguayan, I'm really emotional now. It's really beautiful what you did. The way you brought the drums to the center. You know, that's what Candombe is. Candombe is not the songs, Candombe is not the harmony, Candombe is not the melody, Candombe are the drums. Like Chabela said, you know, it's the drums. It's not even the words, it's the drums. And that rhythm that gives equity and that brings the community together. When we go and see the Candombe players there, you see kids, you see old people, you see black, white, and in between, men and women, and in between, everything, right? And that's what you did. You brought that with your music. It's wonderful. I love the way, just to get a little bit more technical, I love the way when you were soloing and when the piano was soloing or comping, the way you guys opened up to let the drums come through. You were playing off of the drums and letting the drums be the center of the sound, which was amazing because it's very rare to hear that. Like usually I don't hear that in Uruguayan music, in jazz. I love the images you brought on the last piece. They were beautiful with the flute, and at the beginning, those images were really amazing. I love the way you brought Chabela Ramirez words, you know, talking about equity, not from the word, but from the actual rhythm. That was beautiful. Thanks for including that there. The phrase knowing yourself is to begin to improve yourself. All those things, I can tell that you really put a lot of thought into it and you brought it into your music, and I hope you keep moving forward. So I have two questions for you. First of all, it's more technical. If you can explain a little bit more about the clave in 5, which I know that for Candombe players is probably something that it can be a little bit aggressive even to, try to get them to play. Yeah, it really goes against that. And I know it's a big challenge for them to get away from the strict, tradition. So that's one question. And the other one is, how do you plan to keep exploring this music with other Uruguayan rhythms, if you have other things in mind for this? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Yeah, so coming up with a Candombe in 5, it's a way, or my way, of challenging tradition and adding the perspective that I was looking for in this project. So that was the way of allowing myself a space where to think myself and to show a different perspective. During our meetings, we talked about this process Nando calls binarization of odd meters, which consists in doing equal groups of downbeats and upbeats within an odd meter measure. So in Afro-South American culture, the practice of binarization is very natural. It's something that we do, but we don't think that we are doing, but we are actually doing. So if we think about it, the feeling 3, for example, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, is binarized in the 6/8. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, resulting in one downbeat, and one upbeat. So nothing stops us from doing the same with bigger groups, for example, 2 downbeats and 2 upbeats, which results in a 5-beat measure that implies 2 small 5s within it. So we can also apply this idea with 7, with 9, with 11, grouping in 4, 5, whatever. So this would be like down, down, up, up, one, bam, 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 as you can see in the top of the slide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. Being able to feel the big 5, and we also talked a lot about this with Maestro Danilo Perez, was key, because the fact that Candombe rhythmic language is in 16s couldn't be ignored. This process started with Professor Leo Blanco as well, and the Gray Ensemble, where I brought this composition in that I was working for Lihi Harubi's composition class. But we were actually feeling it in 5/8 or 10/8, as I realized later in the first group's ideas. So this was a whole process I developed, and I put a lot of thinking throughout the whole year. In conclusion, with this process, I learned to feel the big beat and understand it with the small cycles it contains. And based on the pattern of the Candombe drum piano, tambor piano, we explored the possibilities. So first of all, we identified 2 very important gravity points of the pattern that are the end of the 16th beat of 16 of beat 1, the last 16th, sorry, of beat 1, and the downbeat of beat 4. Tung, tupa, kung, tupa. So understanding and feeling that as tension and resolution, we tried to keep that, and having that in mind, I expanded the area of tension and created the 5 group, being tung, kung, kung, kupa, takat, kung, kupa, and explored some variations as well. Regarding the idea of rhythmic harmony, which is also another concept we discussed with Nando, first of all, I related it with the concept of bell modes Professor Leek taught us in world percussion class. But in this case, we created the negative of the harmony to try different cascada patterns to fill in with the groove in 5. That was most of it, the process and how we came up with this groove. Like in the 3/4 groove, it's also like an adapted version of the 4/4 groove. Regarding your second question, Nando, yeah, this is part of my future plans. I would like to explore or develop similar projects, but thinking about other folkloric styles like milonga, tango, even murga, that are folkloric rhythms from Uruguay and from the region. Thank you.
Thank you, Nando. Patricia?
Congratulations, Alejandra.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure to work with you all year long in this project. It has been beautiful to see your growth and your development as a as a Uruguayan woman with many questions and many, dreams and many things to tell to the world. I know that you want to expand your music. I know that you may have recorded a couple of things that show that expansion. I was wondering if you have anything that you can show us, where you actually comment on other rhythms other than candombe, and how the future, looks musically for you also within that performance.
Thank you. Yes, so I have one more tune that I would like to show you. Thank you for asking me, Patricia. And this song is called 3 Moons, and I based it on a improvisation I did exploring Danilo Perez's 3 and 4 Earth concept, which relates with the idea of complexity regarding the world we live in, the diverse aspects of life, and the embracement of contradiction within that complexity. So with this piece, I try to open up the sound of candombe that is very groovy and locked in. And the question to me was, what happens if I look to the cumulative rhythm instead of in 2D, like this? I like the idea of opening the space to allow the coexistence of contradiction. And I found this is how I envision where I want to continue expanding. So thank you for asking me these questions. If you allow me, I would like to show a short excerpt of the song. Thank you. This is, kind of my vision, or the way I want to continue expanding to.
Wow, so beautiful. Alejandra, congratulations. And I also want to mention how strong your playing is in this recording. It's really beautiful.
Thank you.
I know that because of the constraint of time in the presentation, which is supposed to be 20 minutes, there's many areas that you could not include. And I know part of your research was on the origin of the candombe. If you want to talk a little bit more about that.
I was very ready.
Thank
you for that question.
We didn't rehearse that at all.
I just wanted to share a little bit of history. The word candombe comes from the Bantu language that derives from the prefix ka, and the word dombe, which means Angolan people in the Kimbundu language, means people. In Uruguay, we spoke about the Black Bible, a branch of the Bantu language that was spoken in Congo and Angola. Candombe is the generic name that refers to all dances with African roots in Uruguay, and it's the result of the conjunction of more than 20 different African ethnicities that arrived in the region due to slavery trade. During the second half of 18th century, Montevideo was the only entrance to the Spanish colonies of the Rio de la Plata region. And by the end of the century, 35% of the population of Montevideo had African roots. At the beginning of Uruguay as an independent country, the established order allowed Afro communities to meet in what is known as nation of houses, and this was very important. In these houses were following the original nations and were associations that offer mutual help to their integrants, something that I feel very proud of, because I always feel that in Uruguay we are very cooperative, very collaborative. So I feel this is part of the roots of that culture, even if we want to see it or not. So these houses were following their original nations, and religious rituals and singing and dancing were kept alive in these concepts. So yeah, that's a little bit of history I wanted to share.
Beautiful, Alejandra. And very quickly, I know you already talked a little bit about your future plans, but oh, there you go. How did I know that?
Yes, continue with the development of a dialogue between Candombe and global jazz, find new areas of composition and arrangement inspired by global jazz approach, develop similar projects, as I answered to Nando, the Global Bass, which is yes, we are going to do it. It is a non-profit organization I'm aspiring to create, to bringing music to places suffering humanitarian crisis or difficulties accessing culture, with a strong component of education through workshops. As Danilo Perez once told me, viewing education as an important part of social activism is a must in 21st century. The Global Bass will travel around the globe, standing for education, hope, and global jazz. And lastly, I would like to present this project in Uruguay, looking forward to performing with female drummers within the tradition.
Nice. Yes. Thank you, Alejandra. Maestro Danilo.
Congratulations. Wow. Striking. I think so much work. This my dad from early on in my life told me that you can say a lot of things, but when the music plays, when the work appears, you just show us so much work. And I am sure that the work wasn't easy, that there was many questions, there were times of resistance. And I just want to congratulate you on all levels. The growth in the playing that I've noticed is fantastic. The sound. One thing that you're doing that is very striking and important is that you are not running changes over. You're not talking about the candombe and you're just running changes on it. You are playing the heart of the rhythms and your lines as an instrumentalist, as a soloist. That's one thing. The other thing is, I really feel and hear a strong connection and desire with the meaning of candombe. It's not just talking about it. You are in the quest for wisdom. And you're approaching this in the way that I talked one day, and I think you all remember the speech about the blues. You are approaching candombe as a phenomenon of innovation. Not just as a rhythm that you get up and dance and, oh, Latin music is so nice, you know. No. As an important phenomenon for enlightening humanity. And I want to thank you for that. The writing, the part of Chavela, what he mentioned. We talk about, do I believe in you? I don't believe in you. I'm counting with you to become the global jazz Uruguayan ambassador and help us bring hope to this humanity. It's beyond belief. It's a duty. And you earn your place. But always remember, resistance is a catalyst for growth, driving us to new heights in life. Thank you, Alejandra. Incredible.
Thank you very much.
Please give another warm applause to Alejandra.
Thank you all for being here.
Congratulations.